It's Ash from Super Videos back for another live stream Q&A video. This is going to be Q&A number 80. So we got a lot to talk about. Of course, last week was the finale of Season 8, the end of All Out War. Pretty exciting episode. And also we had Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 1, the premiere of Season 4 with Morgan's crossover, of course, which was a pretty good episode as well. And of course, this Sunday we're going to see Episode 2 of Season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead. So there's actually a lot going on, a lot to talk about. So this is going to be a pretty fun and exciting live stream Q&A, I think. But we'll see what happens. And let's see what you guys think. First, I want to know everyone's opinions about last week's episode, both for Fear and Walking Dead. You know, what do you guys think about the episode? And were you satisfied, first of all, with the finale of Season 8? And also, did the premiere for Fear live up to expectations or not for you? For me, it was close, but I had a bit more expectations in terms of what I wanted to see. It was a bit slower and a bit less focused on the original story than I would have liked. But I want to know everyone's opinions about that as well. Just gonna check if everything is good in terms of the live stream here, because it is orange right now, meaning that it's slow a little bit. I think things should be okay. So let's just jump right into it. PGN Vlog says first and then bye. All right, you are first, but I guess you left. Coldplay, is Maggie a villain? I don't think so. I think that last scene was misunderstood by a lot of people. It wasn't Maggie just coming out and saying, I want to go against Rick and like some sort of civil war thing. It's not that. It's just that Maggie did not agree with Rick, and he makes it clear, very clear, that that's the case. But that doesn't mean that he's going to declare war on Rick or anything like that, or become a villain. I think it's more or less just her saying that we're going to show you what it means to thrive, even with let's put it this way, even with doing what needs to be done, meaning killing Negan. And I think that they're gonna integrate the story with the Hilltop with this story as well, in terms of what happens next at the Hilltop with Gregory and everything going on there. For comic readers, you know what I mean. I think that has a lot to do with it. I don't think that it's necessarily Maggie becoming a villain. I don't think that's what it is at all. Dan Lee, both shows were great. I do not know what you were looking for. I love them both. I love them both. Not to say that I didn't like them. I like both of them. And, you know, it was entertaining. It was exciting. It was what I wanted. But for Fear, at least, I was expecting them to wrap up the story in a way where they don't have this kind of focus on Morgan only or the new characters only. I wanted it to be a bit more balanced. I feel like this episode was more or less just getting people to just stay a bit longer, and just giving them, you know, the Fear story afterwards. It felt like it wasn't a Fear episode. That's all I, you know, had a problem with in terms of Fear the Walking Dead. I still enjoyed it, but I feel like it was intended for non-Fear watchers or people who haven't watched Fear so far. It was a way to bring them in. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but that's what it felt to me. But not saying that I didn't enjoy it. I definitely did. But I feel like they could have done a lot more in terms of giving us snippets of the original story as well, and having everything come together at the end. And I don't mean that they should have, you know, focused on the other characters as much. Obviously not, because I feel like this was a great way for them to kind of give us that story for the crossover that we wanted. But maybe they could have gave us like flash scenes of the different characters, maybe in the past, maybe in the future, along this story as well, so that, you know, everything is kind of integrated into one, and then maybe having it all come together at the end. Coldplay, did Arad die? I didn't see her die. If she lived, do you think she's the new savior lead? I didn't see her die necessarily. Lara, I'm sure, didn't die because we saw her. I didn't see Arad die. But in terms of her becoming a leader, I don't know about that. It's difficult to predict what's going to happen with the Saviors now because obviously Negan's out of the picture. Dwight is going to be gone. Lara is still there. And maybe Arad. So possibly one of these are going to be the new leader. But that being said, both of those were not reasonable. They're not reasonable, but they weren't portrayed as necessarily good people. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Saviors, to be honest. Elisa Jet, hello, how are you? I'm glad you could join because I know you were trying to see when we're live so you can join. So I'm glad that you could join us live here. Going back to what you said about the story with the leader of the Saviors, who's the leader going to be, I think that that's going to be put in the back burner in the next season. I don't think they're necessarily going to focus on it. They might show it, like say, this is the new leader or whatever, but they're not necessarily going to show how they became the leader or what type of a leader they are in terms of, you know, whether they are necessarily better than Negan or whether they're someone just like Simon. Of course, we know that both Arad and Lara were faithful to Negan. So will we see a situation later on, given that one of them is going to be the leader, that they come out and, you know, do the same thing Negan did, try to attack again? We might see that if one of them is leader, because, like I said, they were definitely faithful to Negan. It wasn't like Eugene, who they weren't like Eugene. They weren't trying to just survive. Seems like they were definitely faithful to Negan. So, yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Saviors in Season 9. Alisa Jet, what is the point of Gracie? Honestly, I don't know. It was basically, I think it had two main intentions. One, to show that there are families at the sanctuary or at the outposts, that they're not all fighters. One. The other was to potentially move Aaron and Maggie's story a little bit forward in terms of having the baby there at the hilltop and getting them to have some sort of character development to some extent. And also, obviously, it was, in my opinion, there only because of Carl's conversation with Negan. Because Negan said that there was a baby at one of the outposts, and he kind of focused on that. He talked about that. So I think that it was basically there to just show that there are families within the Saviors, within the Sanctuary, and they're not all soldiers or fighters. I think that was the main purpose. But maybe it was also there to move some of the characters, you know, in terms of their storylines. They're developing their story a little bit. Both Maggie and Aaron, in my opinion. Elisa Jet, I have a lot to say, LOL. I'm sure you do. A lot of people probably have a lot to say. Of course, last week was pretty big with both the finale and the premiere of Season 4 of Fear, and also the crossover, of course. Elisa Jet, do you think Father Gabriel only got blind to give Eugene the idea of the bullets? No, I think he was definitely blind. He wasn't playing or anything. I think you mean whether it was there in terms of the story for that to happen. Probably. That's probably what. Yeah, in terms of the story, I think that's probably what they had in mind. Why they did it. Coldplay, will Daryl and Rick have a bad relationship again? I hope not, because it's repetitive, but we might see some sort of story where they are disagreeing. Not necessarily being in bad relationship or on bad terms, but just, you know, not agreeing, not seeing eye to eye completely. Same with Maggie. Elisa Jet, oh yeah, that's true about being kiss at Sanctuary. Wonder if your mom will pop up later. Her mom will pop up later. I don't know what that means exactly. Let me just read that again. That's true about being kiss at Sanctuary. Wonder if her mom will pop up again. Yeah, I'm not sure what that exactly, what you're asking there. Alyssa Jet, oh, Coldplay, I hope not too. Yeah, I don't want to see another story where Rick and Daryl have a fight. I just don't want to see that. I think that it was great to see it the first time, but it's repetitive at this point. Alicia Jet, I meant kids. Oh, okay, let me just read that again then. Oh yeah, that's true about being kids at Sanctuary. Wonder if her mom will pop up later. Oh, I see. You're talking about Gracie. Yeah, it's possible, but I think that if her mom was alive, she would be at the outpost as well, because the father was. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna see the mom necessarily, but yeah. I just noticed that I forgot to connect the headphone here for the audio, so the audio is probably pretty bad right now. Let me try this. I hope that's better. I completely forgot to add the headphones this time. Elisa Jet, are you looking forward to the moment they pass the comics? I don't think they're going to pass the comics. With the rate they're going at right now, they're definitely not going to pass the comics. And if they end up including more story, additional story, then that just pushes it further along in terms of where the story in the comics is. So I don't think they're ever going to pass the comics. Let's think about it this way. Season 9 is going to be a new beginning and the introduction of the Whisperers. That's probably all of season 9, and maybe the beginning of not the war itself, but the lead up to the war with the next villains. So that's probably going to be the season 9. Then season 10 is most likely going to be, the first half is going to be the war itself, the big battle. I wouldn't even call it the war, the big battle. And then the second half is most likely going to be after that, which is where they, or close to where they are right now. And then this next season, so that would be season 11, would be where we are in the comics right now. That's 3 years ahead, right? So they're going to produce more comic issues in the meantime. So I don't think they're ever going to pass the comics with the rate that they're going at right now. Just gonna try to check something here real quick. A reminder for those of you that haven't seen the other videos, so I did a reaction to Fear and Walking Dead Season 8 finale last week, so that's posted, so if you haven't checked it out, make sure to go check that out. Also, I did my review for episode 16 of The Walking Dead for Season 8, so go check that out as well. And I also did a promo breakdown for the next episode of Fear the Walking Dead for 402. And I also did a quick video where I basically compared the show versus the comics in terms of the end of All Out War and the defeat of Negan. So that's also an interesting clip or video that I have, so you can check that out as well. Elisa Jet, what was the Oceanside here for? I completely agree. I feel like they were a waste of story, mostly. With the amount of attention on them and the backstory that they kind of got, I feel like it was underwhelming a little bit. How much involved they were actually in the war. Coldplay, will the Commonwealth appear next season? No, next season is way too early for that. We first need to see the next villains, right, before we get to that. Junior Donaldson 20, hey, I'm back. Hey, I'm glad that you could join us. I do remember you, yes. Elisa Jet, I have a theory that the Commonwealth's main purpose is gonna be first new zombies. Let me read that again. I have a theory about the Commonwealth. The main purpose is going to be first new zombies. I'm not sure I understand the question. Now you're wearing a Yankees hat, please burn it. Yeah, I got this a couple years ago. I'm not really I'm not really a baseball fan, so the logo doesn't really, or the team doesn't really mean anything to me, if that makes it any better. And I like the hat, so I'm not going to burn it. Elisa Jet, sorry, I meant fresh. I have a theory that the Commonwealth's main purpose is going to be a fresh new zombies. Yeah, I think that for the Commonwealth, their main purpose in the comics is to show us a big civilization in terms of in this new brand new world that we're living in the post-apocalypse. That's the main purpose. And, you know, the things that you might see in a big community like that. Junior Donaldson 20, LOL. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a hat. I don't support any baseball team. Let's just say that. Not a lot of questions about fear so far, so... I have a good question for you guys. What do you think about how they handled the crossover in terms of showing how Morgan got to where he is in Fear the Walking Dead? Do you think that they did a good job with the cameos that we got and also explaining some things that we didn't really see in The Walking Dead's original, in the finale, in Fear the Walking Dead, and kind of making it feel like it's still a Walking Dead episode? What do you guys think about that? Did you like that, or would you have preferred to see a more fear-centric episode because it's a fear episode and not focus so much on the crossover? Junior Donaldson 20, thanks for not supporting the terrible Yankees, and are you excited for season 9 of The Walking Dead? I don't know about the Yankees being terrible or not because I don't know, how they are as a team because I don't watch baseball, but in terms of season 9 of Fear, or not Fear, what am I thinking here? Season 9 of The Walking Dead, yeah, I'm definitely excited. But it's way too early for us to kind of talk about it because season 8 just ended, so let's enjoy Fear right now and think about what we saw in season 8 and, try to look to see what we need to look forward to for season 9. let's not let's not try to get overexcited, just like we did for season 8, because yeah, I feel like there's a good opportunity again to make season 9 a good season, but again, I don't want to have high expectations, because I'm afraid the same thing is going to happen again as it did in the season that just came on, or the season that we just had. Elisa Jet, but think about how many people they are. I can see Kingdom or Kirkman and Gimple both realizing they have zombies rotten so fast, and what better say, wait, 550,000 new people. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that could definitely be. With that many people, I'm sure that's going to produce a lot more zombies, right? Because they're going to die at some point, even if it's not following any type of fighting or anything, like getting killed or whatever, but they are going to perhaps die naturally, a lot of them, right? And they're going to turn. So you could say that, but at the same time, I would say that any zombie that are created within that community are going to stay within that community and basically be taken care of before they even turn into zombies. So, yeah. Junior Donaldson 20, you're a great YouTuber. Thanks. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Elisa Jet, yeah, I love the crossover. Yes, I did like the crossover. I wasn't a big fan of it originally, but it is what it is. I like what they did, even though it defeats the purpose of why they did Fear anyway in the first place, but let's just look past that for now. Ratchet, the awesome one, Q&A, hey Ash, are you glad Rick spared Negan? Yeah, I mean, I think they needed to go that route in terms of the story, because it was so iconic in the comics that if they remixed that, it would have been a huge change. So yeah, I'm glad that they did what they did in the comics. Junior Donaldson 20, they are terrible. I'm assuming you're still talking about the Yankees here. Elisa Jet, I didn't think I'd like John, but I do. A sweetheart of a badass. Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with John's character the moment we saw him. So, yeah, that character is one of my favorite characters right now. In Fear. Junior Donaldson 20, Blue Jays are unbelievable. Interesting. Elisa Jet, I want to see Daniel again. Yes, same here. It doesn't look like he's going to be in season 4 at all. We haven't seen him, so I hope he rolls around sometime in the future, but yeah, we haven't seen him in the promos, in the pictures, in anything. So yeah, I hope that they bring him, but at this point, it's unlikely. Or they're making it seem like he's not going to show up. Maybe they're going to surprise us. Junior Donaldson 20, bro, so cool. I forgot how often do you do live streams? Every Friday night, around the same time. So 6 p.m. Mountain Time. You're going to have to convert it to wherever you are, but it's 6 p.m. Mountain Time every Friday night. Elisa Jet, no, I think they're going to have a concert breakout or something huge and the Commonwealth won't remain. I can't help but think that I'm onto something. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought, definitely. And I'm sure in a big community like that, something like that's going to happen. Maybe not to that large of a scope, but maybe smaller scope. Maybe someone dying in a bar or whatever, turning, and then creating chaos, right? And then maybe the cops or the guards or whatever have to go and take care of it. I can see definitely that being maybe a future storyline if the Commonwealth will remain and if they are not gonna be wiped out and gone in the next couple issues here. Lisa Jet, Trot's alive, lol. Trots. I'm not sure what you mean there. Giuseppe De Rosa, yo Ash, yo, how are you? I'm glad you could join. Lisa Jet, damn, I mean Troy. Oh, Troy's alive? No, Troy died. Madison killed him. He's pretty dead right now. Ratchet, the awesome one, Q&A. Hey, Ash. Can you see Gregory's story behind being the same as in the comics? Like, will they introduce Brandon and will he release Negan? Oh, that part of the story. Did that involve Gregory? Okay, I'm gonna reread that because I feel like I misread that completely. Hey Ash, can you see Negan? Okay, not Gregory. You didn't say Gregory, okay. I'm just reading things here. Can you see Negan's story being the same as in the comics? Like, will they introduce Brandon and will he release Negan? Yeah, I love that part from the comics, so I hope they do that. Junior Donaldson 20, yo Giuseppe DeRosa or DeRozan, remember me. Oh, you're just talking to Giuseppe here? Giuseppe DeRosa, do you think we'll ever see The Walking Dead with no Daryl and Rick, like they both die? Probably not. One of them dies, then, or if both of them die, then that's kind of the end of the story, right? I mean, as much as I want the show to be good without these two characters, at this point I don't see it. More Rick than Daryl. Junior Donaldson 20, every Friday, great news. Yes, every Friday night. Elisa Jet, I refuse to believe he's dead, lol. Yeah, I mean, his death was a little shocking. I'm like, did they really just kill off Troy? But they did what they did, so. Same thing with Travis, right? With Fear, it seems like they killed all of the interesting characters. And now they have to bring in more characters and making them interesting because of the characters that they've killed before. Because there was Travis, there was Chris, there was Troy, there was Troy's brother, I don't remember his name. There was the big villain, I don't remember his name, the bald guy. Otto, Jeremiah Otto. They killed him, he was interesting. He was a villain, so I guess they were gonna kill him sooner or later, but the other characters, they killed them way too early, I think. Junior Donaldson 20, part of my after school routine and after my jog on Fridays. I think you're talking about the live stream right now, right? Junior Donaldson 20, The Walking Dead is so amazing. Yeah, it's pretty good. Elisa Jet, they really need to have Sadiq play a bigger role since Carl brought him in. Yeah, I mean, a lot of pressure on Sadiq right now, right? Ratchet, the awesome one, Jake Otto. Yeah, that's the brother's name, Jake Otto. So it was Jake Otto, Jeremiah Otto, and Troy Otto. Almost forgot Troy's name again. Yeah, Troy Otto. Lisa Jet reminded me the name. Giuseppe DeRosa, do you think we'll ever see a season without Rick? Not a whole entire season, unless he's dead, but if he's alive, he's going to be popping up in an episode at least, right? Or a couple episodes. Even if he's not the focus of the season, necessarily. Elisa Jet, a whole season? Yeah. I don't think we're going to not see Rick a whole season if he's not dead. Junior Donaldson 20, imagine Shane deal with Negan. Bruh, that would be insane and so cool. Yeah, I mean, how is he going to deal with Negan? Or how would he deal with Negan? Probably the same way Rick did, right? So, I guess he wouldn't be as soft as Rick was originally, but maybe he would be after witnessing Glenn and Abe dying right in front of him, as brutally as they did. Who knows? Giuseppe DeRosa, what are your predictions for the last Saviors? I think you mean Saviors, not Survivors. For the Saviors, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Negan is not there. Dwight's not there. Simon is dead. I don't know. either Arat or Lara. One of them, because the other top lieutenants are all dead. So these are the only two that are left. Ratchet, the awesome one. Hey Ash, since Carl is gone, who do you see being the last man standing at the end of the show? I mean, I don't think the show is going to end with necessarily someone being the last man standing. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a different thing at the end. But, yeah, I don't even think that's going to happen in the comics. I think that's just too cliche of an ending. Junior Donaldson 20, Michonne as one of the last survivors, and maybe Judith. Oh, now I see what Giuseppe De Rosa means about the last survivors. So you did really mean last survivors, not last saviors. Yeah, like I said, I don't think there's necessarily going to be a last man standing or a last character standing. Elisa Jet, I think they need to write Daryl better next season. Completely agree with you there. Junior Donaldson 20 and Aaron. Yeah, I mean, all Aaron did this season was fight a little bit, watch Eric die, and go to Oceanside and convince them to join the war last 5 minutes, right? So that's all he did, literally. Junior Donaldson 20, Eric's brother. Yeah, Aaron, we talked about that. Jason Voorhees, what do you think the flag means on Fear, The Walking Dead? That's interesting. I have a few theories, but I don't know for sure, right? I mean, one of the theories is that the villains put that up as a way to show that, this is the community that we've stumbled upon. So community number 1, 2, 3. And it doesn't have to be a big community. It could be any size community. Or maybe any place that's big enough to have an establishment in there, even if it's not established already. And they could potentially be trying to expand by going to these places. That's one of my theories. The next is, how many days has passed. That's possible. But I don't know why the villains would put that up. Because it seems like the villains put it up, right? Because in the promo of the next episode, we have Alicia saying, "Did you put up the flags?" And she was, of course, asking Althea. So, yeah, the second theory is probably not right, but the first one has a lot of weight to it. Alicia Jet, Jesus and Aaron were wasted this season. Jesus for sure. Definitely. I mean, Jesus all of a sudden became a man of peace in this season when we needed him to be a badass the most. So yeah, big disappointment this season was definitely what they did with Jesus. Rashid the Awesome One, hey Ash, what's your favorite community from the show? I love Kingdom. Kingdom is pretty cool. Alexandria is number 1 still for me. Kingdom is second. Come on, they have Jerry. That's all you need, just Jerry, right? Yeah, and Hilltop probably third. But Hilltop, we have Maggie. And I think Daryl is there right now. So it's a tough one between Kingdom and Hilltop, right? Yeah. Kingdom and Hilltop. Alexandria first, and then one of those two. Pick whatever. Alicia Jet, love Althea's truck. Yeah. That's an insane truck, right? Giuseppe, one thing I want to mention, if they had that truck during the war in the original show at Alexandria, that would have been the end of the war, right? Giuseppe De Rosa, would you like to see The Walking Dead to stop following the comics after the Whisperer story arc and make their own story? No, I want them to do what they've been doing for the first 6 seasons. continue with following the comics, but do introduce things, do change things to make it fresh, to make it interesting. But give us the iconic stuff in a way that's still interesting. Junior Donaldson 20, has anyone ever heard the song Civilians, one of the main soundtracks in The Walking Dead? I don't remember that song at all. I might have heard it, but the title doesn't ring a bell. Giuseppe De Rosa, Oceanside, is like the person in the group that does very little for the project. Yeah, and shows up last 5 minutes and saves the project. Or they didn't really save the group anyway, right? It was just Hilltop. I mean, even if they weren't there, what was going to happen? Tara and the others would have killed the other saviors, right? So they literally did nothing. All they did was do something that the others could still have done anyway. Junior Donaldson 20, right, agree. Giuseppe De Rosa, Oceanside was basically worthless. Yeah, basically. And everyone knew they were going to come back. So it wasn't even like, oh my god, our heads are exploding because Oceanside shows up, right? Lisa Jet, I think Dwight will shine next season as the main character. That's if he comes back next season, because, you know, Daryl told him to go. So it's going to be interesting how they bring him back, if they're going to bring him back. Giuseppe De Rosa barely did nothing. I think you're still talking about Oceanside. Just gonna skip the comments here and just go to the questions, because I'm starting to lose track of where I am. Ratchet the Awesome One. Hey Ash, do you think it's possible Sherry could turn out to be Alpha? No. I've heard about that theory. It's just, yeah, no. I don't think so. It's one of those kind of clickbait videos, I think, to even come up with this theory and do a video on it, so. Junior Donaldson 20, look it up. It's a great song, and then you'll most likely like it and will remember it. Yeah, if I remember, I'll check it out. Civilians song. Okay. Elisa Jet, what if Maggie doesn't sign? Any theories about Hilltop? Oh, if Lauren Cohan doesn't sign, they're in trouble, right? I mean, with the way they ended this season, having Maggie have this kind of crucial, important scene for the next season, then they're kind of screwed, right? If Lauren Cohan doesn't come next season. They're going to have to, I think if that ends up happening, and I definitely don't think that will, I think they'll do something. They'll just pay her last minute or whatever ends up happening. I think she's going to come back. But if they don't, I think that what they're going to do is just basically reveal that she died during, or giving birth to the baby or whatever. And that's going to be it. And then that's going to mess up Daryl a little bit. And it's going to make him go crazy again and want to go rogue again. And follow Maggie's, not plan, but what she wanted next season or whatever. I'm not sure if that made any sense, but Giuseppe De Rosa, Oceanside versus the Garbage People in a war. Garbage people are terrible fighters. Oceanside. Ratchet the Awesome One. Elisa Jet, they could have Jesus lead the Hilltop. Yeah, if Maggie died, or if they end up killing Maggie, that's definitely possible. Lisa Jet, I think Lara will play Sherry's comic storyline. I don't think that's going to work. Unless I'm missing what you're saying there. Lisa Jet, Ratchet the Awesome One, I always you're just talking to another user or another person here. Giuseppe De Rosa, can you see Daryl in a relationship with a girl? Sure. Why not? Junior Donaldson 20, garbage people, LOL. So you think garbage people can beat Oceanside in a fight? I don't think so. Ratchet the Awesome One. Q&A. Hey Ash, do you think Sherry will return in Season 9, and how would you like her to come back? Do you think she'll be a member of the Whisperers? I don't like that theory at all. So no, I don't think she has anything to do with the Whisperers, but I think she might show up next season with Dwight, depending on what they want to do with her story, right? And with Dwight's story. Junior Donaldson 20, spoilers, stop, no. There is no spoilers right now. They haven't even started filming for Season 9. So there's absolutely no spoilers out there right now. So we're safe in terms of spoilers. I think they begin filming just starting now. So I think we're safe right now. Junior Donaldson 20, Oceanside should win. Yeah, I mean Oceanside versus garbage people, Oceanside will probably win. Elisa Jet, Daryl and a girl would seem awkward now. I don't know why, but it would to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm indifferent about it at this point. If they're gonna do it, whatever. If they're not, I'm still cool with it. Giuseppe Da Rosa, Alexandria, Hilltop Kingdom, Oceanside, garbage people versus termites. The governor and the saviors. Ooh, that was a mouthful. Alexandria, Hilltop Kingdom, Oceanside, garbage. So basically, all of the groups that we had in All Out War versus all of the villains we've seen so far. Of course, all the villains are going to win. They had problems beating Negan and the Saviors. That same group, right? But if they do all join and work together, then I guess they could potentially have a chance. Ratchet the Awesome One, Q&A, hey Ash, are you going to do a death prediction video for Season 9? Definitely. Maybe not right now, maybe later, but definitely. In the off season for sure. Elisa Jet, I hope Morgan doesn't get put on a back burner in fear. I hope not. I don't think so, because if he does, then it would defeat the purpose of bringing Morgan in anyway, right? Or in the first place. Junior Donaldson 20, DeRosa, yeah. And then you say he said termites, LOL. He meant terminus. Yeah, the terminus people are called termites, so he had it right there. We are 45 minutes into the live stream. Maybe we'll push it for like another maybe a couple minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Usually the live streams are 30 minutes, but we do end up pushing it longer if, you know, there is a lot of questions and people show up to the live stream. So we'll give it 15 more minutes and then we'll decide if we want to continue afterwards or not. Elisa Jet, interested to see why Rick doesn't like going outside the walls. Or Nick, sorry. Nick, yeah. I mean, he was all about going out in the previous season, right? And I mentioned that in my breakdown of the second episode of Fear. But now it's Nick just staying out or staying in and not wanting to go out. So yeah, you're right about that. Very interested to see why that's the case. Junior Donaldson 20, you said termites. Yeah, termites. They're called termites, right? I'm not going crazy here. Terminus people are called termites, I think. Junior Donaldson 20, another 8 hours, yes. I can't push it for that long, but we might push it for maybe 30 minutes if we want. Then you say people show up, yes, we will continue. Like, yeah, I mean, if people show up, if we are seeing a lot of questions, and I'll push it to maybe Yeah, 30 more minutes after. So in 15 minutes, we'll have 30 more minutes, not 13, 30 more minutes. So 45 more minutes. Let's just put it that way. But we'll see in 15 minutes if we're going to push it for that long. Elisa Jet with a $10 yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate it. That means a lot. Thank you for supporting that and supporting the channel and giving the $10 here. Thank you. Elisa Jet, keep up the live chat. Yeah, the live chat's been going on for, I would say, starting season 8, episode 9, and we've been going strong every Friday. So, yeah, I find it hard to think of a situation where I would stop doing it because, it's a great way to talk to you guys and answer questions and, just have fun, right? That's what it's all about. Yeah, and thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And I just hope that you guys are finding these live streams and the videos entertaining and exciting, and you guys are having fun because that's what it's all about. Lisa Jet, I drive for a living and it's my entertainment for at long hours night driving. I drive for a living and it's my entertainment at long hours night driving. Yeah, I mean, that's why I do most of my videos more like podcasts, because yeah, I feel like usually people have these type of videos in the background as they're doing other stuff and they just listen to it. That's why I usually just don't have a lot of like visual things in my videos in terms of things where you need to actually watch the screen. So yeah, but thank you for supporting the channel and watching the videos. Junior Donaldson 20, if I was rich, I would give you $1 billion just because you're a great YouTuber. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Don't give me $1 billion because then you'll go broke. So don't do it. Even if you did have the money, I would say don't do that to anyone because just keep the money, man. Just keep it. But really appreciate the support you guys have given the channel so far, and a lot of new people around, right? I mean, there's a lot of old or people that have been on the channel before that have followed along. I think yeah, Giuseppe De Rosa is one of them, but Junior Donaldson 20 recently joined the live streams. Ratchet, the awesome one, I remember seeing. But Elisa Jet is a new one, so definitely love that we're getting new people on here, and we're getting a lot of interesting and cool discussions. Elisa Jet. Yeah, Elisa Jet, exactly. We don't have to stare at the screen. Yeah, and I try to mix it up. Some videos I do where, it's me just in front of the camera talking, even if it's not live. Sometimes I add in clips as I'm doing a discussion or talking about something. Sometimes I will put some writing on there in terms of whether it comes or if it comes from a news source or whatever. I just post that story so you guys can see it as I'm reading it. So I try to mix it up. Junior Donaldson 28, right? That's funny. I joined about 3 months ago. Well, we didn't have the live streams 3 months ago. I was talking about the live streams. But yeah, you've been here, I think, for a long time or a while, because I do remember seeing your name before as well. Elisa Jet, a lot of Daryl haters now, I have noticed. Yeah, I mean, the thing with Daryl is there's a period of time where we just love him, and then he does something where we start to get really annoyed with him, and then we're okay, and then he does something good, and we like him, and then it goes back and forth. So, yeah, it's like a cycle with Daryl. Elisa Jet, can't wait for Angela Kang. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think it'll be a good breath of fresh air. And given what happened with Scott Gimple near the end of the season, or in the second half, I think that maybe they made the right choice, maybe not, maybe they did, but I think that it's a breath of fresh air. That's all I can say. I mean, it's not a guarantee that she's going to improve things a lot very quickly, but yeah, we're going to have to give the new showrunner, Angela Kang, a chance, and also not forget about everything that Scott Gimple has given us. I mean, Scott Gimple has given us a lot of great storylines. Let's not forget that. Even though we do disagree or we hate some of the stuff he did recently, he did still give us or produce a lot of great story. So let's not think about all of the negatives. Let's be reasonable. Junior Donaldson 20, or you could also play Walking Dead soundtracks quietly in the background, like Civilian. The thing is, copyright. That's the main thing. That's why I don't put that type of music in the back. If I put a music in the background, it's usually just royalty-free music. Because, yeah, copyright on YouTube is going to be on you as soon as you post something with a copyright thing on it. And yeah, you're saying during the live streams. But it doesn't matter. Still, copyright is going to be on you as soon as you post something with music that you don't own or that's not royalty-free. Elisa Jet, I really had a hard time about Carl's death. Yeah, I mean, I've shared my thoughts. I understand what they did and how it helped the end of all that war with Negan and his storyline, but there were a lot of better ways to do that. Morgan was a classic example. They even highlighted him saying, all life is precious, building the cell. So they kind of changed it completely. And they didn't even bring that into the picture in the finale, the cell, or show it or whatever. So I feel like Carl's death was definitely a last-minute decision. That's definitely what it felt like. And I think there were a lot of better ways for them to do what they needed to do to have Negan's story play out the way it did in the comics without having to kill Carl. Elisa Jet, I agree he did some good. Yeah, he definitely did. One example is the termites. They were 15 times better than what they did in the comics, what they did in the show, of course. That's one classic example that I can think of. Bringing in Merle. I mean, or not Daryl and Merle, because I think that was before Scott Gimple. That was the previous showrunners, right? So let's scrap that. The storyline that we got with, even, let's just say this season, as much as we didn't like this season, one part that I absolutely loved was linking Oceanside with Simon. and linking that with what happened at the junkyard. That's a classic example of something that I enjoyed and liked, and Scott Gimple did that, right? So let's just, like I said, be reasonable and not think about all of the negatives. Even in this season, there were a lot of great things this season, even though we didn't enjoy some of it, or most of it for some guys, or for some people. Elisa Jet, it's weird though, a lot of people, including me, pointing out Season 7 and early Season 8 to be a problem for them. The style and dialogue were bad. Yeah, I mean, Season 7 and Season 8's first half, I would say, were the worst times during Walking Dead history, in my opinion. And that's everything, with stretching out the story, bad dialogue, like you say, and kind of dragging on the story for no reason. Junior Donaldson 20, oh, copyright, I didn't know that. All right. Yeah, definitely. Copyright is going to come back and bite you in the ass if you don't pay attention to it. Because it might not necessarily come straight away. Like, you may post a video, and then a couple days after, copyright. And they're going to give you a strike. And if you don't know what a strike is, on YouTube you can have 3 strikes. And strikes come on or are given to you if you have copyright content. So first strike, you just get limits in terms of how many or how long your videos can be, and not being able to have custom thumbnails and things like that. After the second strike, then, or no, after the first strike, they're just going to warn you. After the second strike, they're going to eliminate that or give you that limit with the length and things like that. After the third strike, your channel gets terminated. So it's pretty risky, you know, putting copyright content. Elisa Jet, I think the fans did the Oceanside link and gave them that idea. Yeah, I mean, I think they had that in mind. So when they introduced Oceanside and revealed that, they already knew what they were going to do with Simon, I think. Junior Donaldson 20, LOL, Elisa Jet, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but I think that they planned these things out way ahead of time. So when they introduced Oceanside and revealed their story, they knew what they were going to do with the next, or what they were going to do with Simon and the next storyline with Negan and stuff. So I think they know these things ahead of time. Elisa Jet, yeah, like Morales. Yeah, for Morales, though, I definitely think they brought him back only because of fan service. That was the only reason. I don't see anything else for that. Junior Donaldson 20, what's custom thumbnail? Custom thumbnail is basically, so when you post a video, it just grabs one, or it forces you to choose one of the snapshots of the video clip that you post as the thumbnail of the video. So, you know, you can't really put a custom thumbnail. You can't put anything that you might want if you don't have it in your video. But if you want to have custom thumbnail, then you can do that. So you can say, upload an image and make that my thumbnail. So that's what it is. Tom himself, if you pause it and talk over, they can't copyright strike you. If you pause it and talk over, they can't copyright strike you. Yeah, I mean, that's possible, but it's still risky. And I just don't want to take that risk, to be honest. Junior Donaldson 20, you like meeting Morales in Season 8. I wasn't a big fan of that. I mean, it was cool, but I wasn't a big fan of it. Elisa Jet, if they plan ahead of time, why so sad of death for Carl? It didn't seem thought out at all. That's an exception. I agree. That's an exception with Carl. It felt like it felt last minute, like a last minute decision. But most other things they do, it's planned ahead of time. Another classic example. when Eugene and Abraham found the bullet factory in season 6. They didn't use it until season 7, second half, and then season 8, right? So, yeah, I think most things they do plan ahead of time. Junior Donaldson 20, because the camp no Morales well in season 1. Because the camp no Morales. Yeah, I mean, fan service. Morales' return was definitely a fan service to me. I think that's what they had in mind. And I'm not saying that I hated it, but I wasn't a fan of it. Junior Donaldson 20, I thought that, but yeah, still risky. Yeah, definitely risky. I mean, you do it once, you could, you could go ahead, go through, but if it keeps happening, then your channel is just going to be done, right? So, I don't want to take that risk, really. We are about an hour in, an hour and 2 minutes, so maybe we'll give it 15 more minutes, and that'll be the end of the live stream here. But definitely great discussions this time around, and yeah, a lot of great talk about everything in terms of the world of The Walking Dead, not just the show. Because we did talk about the comics, we did talk about Fear, so it's a great discussion for everything Walking Dead related. Elisa Jet, people are saying obvious removed scene in the finale. Jesus kicked the savior, gone, and how Rick got hurt. Yeah, definitely. The Jesus fight, we didn't see it. And also, how did Rick get injured? I missed it. They didn't have it. So, I think that was a bad decision for them not to have that, right? Because they put that scene in the mid-season premiere, was it, or the finale, that showed Rick being injured. So everyone was waiting for it, but they never showed it. Junior Donaldson 20, yeah, don't take the risk. That would suck for your channel to be eliminated. Yes, it will. Tom himself, the budget limit is really hurting the show. Yes. Yes. And we saw a lot of that in season 7 and 8. Season 6, I didn't feel like there was any budget issues. It didn't seem like there was any problems in terms of high-level stuff, right? But we definitely saw problems in season 7 and 8 that could only be explained by saying that it was a budget issue. Lisa Jet, I think comics and stories underwhelming too often. I think comics and stories underwhelming too often. That's debatable. I mean, All Out War had a great ending, not underwhelming at all. Whispers, I would say the end of, or the first part of their story was great. But then the war was underwhelming, and then the Commonwealth, they're great right now, like what they're doing, but I hope that they don't end their story in an underwhelming way. Junior Donaldson 20, thank you for your time, sir. Thank you for joining the stream and asking questions and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Junior Donaldson 20, I'm usually the last one to watch your streams, though maybe not this time. Yeah, you were there from the beginning this time, so yeah, you didn't miss anything this time. And I don't know who mentioned it, but someone mentioned me putting a reminder at the end of my videos, all of them, that we're going to have a live stream every Friday night. And I did that, and I have definitely been seeing an increase in the number of people showing up. So whoever it was, you know who we were. Thank you for that suggestion, because it definitely helped. Junior Donaldson 20, of course, anytime, bro. Thank you, thank you. Elisa Jet, yeah, Whisperers need more time. Yeah, I mean, you need to build up the Whisperers. Don't jump into the war with the Whisperers quickly in the show. I really hope that they take their time with the introduction of the Whisperers. Not too slow, but not too quickly either. Junior Donaldson 20 and bye squad. Bye, thank you for joining the stream. Tom himself, adapting comic material is hard. Yeah, I agree with that. As a showrunner in this type of show where you have to adapt comic story, it's difficult because it's a balance of satisfying comic fans, making TV show only fans satisfied, and also making it not just an adaptation. I mean, a complete adaptation. Changing things and making it still interesting. So yeah, I definitely agree. Tom himself, and especially after Kirkman stated that after issue 100, he started writing shit that he knew wouldn't be adapted to the TV as a way to reassure himself that he kept his creative freedom intact. Yeah, I mean, some of the things are going to be difficult to adapt after the war from the comics. Tom himself, by the way, happy 420, everyone. Happy 420 to you. I don't celebrate. I don't know who does, but I'm sure you do, so happy 420 to you. Junior Donaldson 20, that was me as well, who did the suggestion about hitting the notification bell. Yeah, I thought it was you, but I didn't want to say it because I wasn't sure. Yeah, thank you. It definitely worked. Thank you for the suggestion. Alisa Jet, just one, Tom. I don't think that he's going to stop with just one. I mean, his image is him celebrating 420, right? So, I don't think he's going to end with just one. Tom himself, thanks Ash and Elisa. No problem. I hope you're having a great 420. But just remember that, you know, just, I don't want to, okay, yeah, just remember, in Canada where I am, we still can't necessarily celebrate 420. Well, yeah, and I'm not really a 420 guy, if you know what I mean. Tom himself, where is that weed crop the Sabres had back in Season 6, Episode 12? Negan used all of that. Why do you think he went soft? I'm just saying. Or maybe Rick did. But yeah, interesting thing to bring up. What happened to it? I'm not sure. Maybe it's still in there. Maybe Jared used it all. Maybe that's why he's an asshole. Because he's high all the time. Tom himself laughed my ass off. Okay, about a couple more minutes here. Elisa Jet, LOL, this live chat time kept moving since on the road. Started in Cal, finally caught it in Oklahoma. Yeah, thank you for watching while you're driving. I'm not sure, I don't think you're watching, but just listening. But you're asking questions, so make sure you're safe, because I don't want you to type or text or whatever as you're driving, so stay safe. Tom himself, probably Carl. He was all peace and love after spending the previous season trying to kill Negan. Yeah, maybe Carl used it. That's possible. Maybe that's why he didn't notice the walker biting him. Elisa Jet, Ella, Carl, and Jesus were they're both love and peace. Yeah, they became Bob Marley all of a sudden. It was just a matter of time before Carl started singing, "Don't worry, be happy." I mean, Junior Donaldson 20, of course, anytime now I'm going in the history books for giving a helpful suggestion to a professional future YouTuber. Yeah, you definitely get that. Tom himself, who's your pick for getting Carl's story on the show? I think it's going to be split up between different characters. Carl's story, when it comes to visiting Negan in the cell, that's most likely going to be given to Daryl. But parts of it are going to maybe be given to Henry, parts of it maybe to Daryl, parts of it to other characters. So I don't think one person is going to be getting all of Carl's storyline. Tom himself, don't say Daryl. I already did. You're too late. I already said. Tom himself, LOL. Tom himself, yeah, good call. Elisa. It's Jet, thank you, Tom himself. Yeah, I mean, they kind of pushed themselves to a corner a little bit with some of the storyline that Carl had in the comics. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Tom himself, there's a delay for the chat. Yeah, I see the quality is in orange mode, which means that it's a little slow. But we are near the end of the stream here, so I don't want to restart it right now. But usually when this happens, I usually just end the stream and join right back. It doesn't change anything for you guys. You guys can just stay on. But for me, it basically refreshes my stream, and things usually work better after. But at the moment, because we're near the end of the stream, I'm not going to do that. Alright, that's basically the end of the stream here. Thank you to everyone who participated and asked questions. Thank you to Elisa Jet for the super chat. I really appreciate that. That means a lot and definitely helps out with the channel and everything. But in terms of the live stream here, it was a great one. I mean, it was a memorable live stream for sure. A lot of great discussions, a lot of interesting and exciting questions and comments and things like that. Maybe I'll answer a few more questions since we have a few more questions here. Elisa Jet, I think Negan should have lots of visits, Eugene and Gabriel and Daryl. I mean, it's almost build up for Daryl, because Negan used to visit him in the cell, or kind of, and now Daryl is going to visit Negan in a cell, so that's kind of fun in itself. Same with Eugene, because, not Eugene, but Gabriel, because he was in a cell. But with Eugene, that's definitely possible, because he did betray Negan, so he could go and rub it in his face. Tom himself, what they did to Eugene was probably the best decision for the character, but I know you disagree, right? I agree. I mean, good decision, a little predictable, but great decision to redeem him, or work towards redeeming him. To me, he's still not 100% redeemed, but I think that they did a great decision, or they made a great decision for that. Junior Donaldson 20, I was born in London, England, and have lived in Canada most of my life, yet still do. Where are you? I'm just curious, like which part of Canada? East, west? Tom himself, I mean, I'm interested in his story now. Yeah, I'm more interested in Eugene's story now than before. Elisa Jet, me too, about Eugene. Junior Donaldson 20, I will be here, and I mean right here next Friday. See you later, squad, and thank you for your time, sir, future professional YouTuber. Thank you. I can't talk right now. I don't know why. I'm mumbling here. But thank you. I appreciate it. I think we'll see a time skip. Maybe not as long as the comics, but we will see some sort of time skip. Junior Donaldson 20, North. From North Canada. Nice. Elisa Jet. He bounded with Eugene though. Eugene actually liked Negan. Yeah, I mean, and that's why it would be interesting to see Eugene visiting Negan, right? Tom himself, I'm gonna miss evil Eugene though. I will a little bit, but come on. I want to see Eugene helping out. I don't want to see him be bad, right? Alright, that's it. If I continue, I will get more questions and I'll go another 50 or 50 more minutes. But I really have to get out of here. Yeah, thank you everyone that joined the stream. Really appreciate it. Again, thank you to Elisa Jet for the super chat. And thank you everyone for supporting the channel. That's it for this live stream. I will see hopefully everyone next Friday night. Same time for the next live stream Q&A. Thank you.